The bell screamed, signaling the end of another day at Northgate High. For most, it was a release. For Leo, it was the start of the daily gauntlet. He clutched his worn sketchbook to his chest, a flimsy shield against the glares and shoves that were as predictable as the sun. Leo was small for his age, with glasses that always seemed a little crooked, and a talent for art that made him an easy target for the school's resident tyrants, led by a hulking senior named Mark. Just as Leo tried to slip out unnoticed, Mark and his crew cornered him by the lockers. "Look what we have here, the little artist," Mark sneered, snatching the sketchbook from Leo's grasp. "What masterpiece are you drawing today, Picasso?" "A picture of you crying." His friends laughed, a harsh grating sound that echoed in the hallway. Leo just stood there, his face burning, his fists clenched at his sides. He knew better than to fight back. It only made it worse, but today was different. A figure emerged from the stream of students, stepping calmly into the tense circle. He was new. His name was Kai. He transferred a week ago, and mostly kept to himself, a silent observer with an air of quiet confidence. He wasn't particularly big, but he moved with a kind of fluid grace that was hard to ignore. "I think you dropped this," Kai said, his voice even. He gently took the sketchbook from Mark's hand. Mark, surprised by the interruption, was momentarily speechless. He looked Kai up and down, a smirk returning to his face. "And who are you, his new bodyguard?" "I'm just a guy who thinks people should leave other people's property alone," Kai replied. Handing the sketchbook back to a stunned Leo, Mark's face darkened. "You've got a lot of nerve, new kid," he shoved Kai, expecting him to stumble, to show fear, but Kai barely moved. He stood his ground, his feet planted, his gaze unwavering. "I don't want any trouble," Kai said, his voice still calm but with a new edge to it. "Just let him go." "Or what?" Mark challenged, puffing out his chest. "You're going to make me?" He threw a clumsy punch. And then, everything seemed to happen in slow motion. Kai didn't retaliate with a brutal counterattack. He didn't throw a single punch. Instead, he moved. With a swift, almost dance-like motion, he sidestepped the punch, used Mark's own momentum to guide him off balance, and in a fluid sequence of parries and blocks, effortlessly deflected every single one of Mark's angry swings. It wasn't a fight. It was an art form. Kai wasn't a brutal fighter. He was a disciplined martial artist, a protector. Mark, red-faced and panting, found himself flailing at empty air, looking more foolish with every missed blow. Finally, exhausted and humiliated, Mark stumbled back. The hallway, once filled with jeers, was now silent, the students watching in awe. Kai hadn't hurt Mark at all, but he had completely dismantled his power. He hadn't fought with anger, but with control and precision. He had won without throwing a single strike. Kai simply looked at Mark and said, "Is that enough?" Defeated, Mark muttered something under his breath and stormed off, his crew scrambling after him. Kai turned to Leo, a small, reassuring smile on his face. "You okay?" Leo could only nod, his heart pounding with a mix of fear, relief, and overwhelming gratitude. He clutched his sketchbook, the drawings inside suddenly feeling safer, more important. How did you do that?" he stammered. "It's called Aikido," Kai explained as they walked out of the school together. "My grandfather taught me. It's not about hurting people, it's about protecting them. It's about using an attacker's energy against them to neutralize a threat without causing harm." From that day on, a quiet friendship blossomed between the artist and the martial artist. Kai's presence was a shield, but not in the way Leo expected. The bullying stopped, not because everyone was afraid of Kai, but because his actions had changed the school's dynamic. He had shown them a different kind of strength, one that wasn't built on fear and intimidation, but on respect and self-control. Leo, in turn, started to change. He walked with his head held a little higher. He no longer tried to be invisible. Inspired by Kai's calm confidence, he found his own. He started sharing his art, even entering a school competition. His winning piece was a series of charcoal sketches. The first showed a boy cornered, small and afraid. The next showed a figure stepping in, not with fists raised, but with an open, steady stance. The final and most powerful image depicted the two of them walking side by side, one holding a sketchbook, the other with his hands calmly behind his back, silhouetted against the setting sun. The title of the piece was simple, A Different Kind of Strength. One afternoon, as they sat on a bench in the park, Leo asked Kai why he'd stepped in that day. "You didn't even know me," Leo said. Kai looked out at the horizon. "My grandfather always told me that the greatest martial artists aren't the ones who win the most fights. They are the ones who never have to fight at all because they create a world where fighting is unnecessary." He said true strength is about building people up, not tearing them down. "I saw you, and I saw someone with a gift. I saw a good person. And good people are worth protecting." Leo was silent for a moment, the weight of those words settling in his heart. Kai hadn't just saved him from a bully. He had shown him what it meant to be truly strong. He had taught him that the most powerful weapon we have isn't our fists, but our character. It's the courage to stand up for what's right, the compassion to protect the vulnerable, and the wisdom to know that violence is never the answer. The story of the new transfer who was a brutal fighter spread through the school, but the legend got it wrong. Kai wasn't brutal at all. He was something far more powerful. He was kind. And in a world that often mistakes aggression for strength, Kai showed everyone at Northgate High that the most transformative force of all is the quiet, unshakable power of a good heart. He taught them that you don't need to be a fighter to be a hero. You just need to be willing to stand for something better. Thanks so much for watching. We hope this story brought a little inspiration to your day. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more uplifting content. We'll see you in the next video.